round of the WRC is on his home soil. The Rallye Catalunya is the beginning of what might be the end.
Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Welcome to the Rallye Catalunya. What a weekend this could be for Carlos Sainz. He's a new championship leader and back on home turf with an army of fans.
I have to thank everybody because they are coming here just to support me, and it's great. It's very nice.
But Carlos has 3 drivers on his tail, and all of them are capable of becoming world champion. Petter Solberg won his first ever tarmac event last week in the Corsican rain, giving him a real shot of winning the title.
I can win it. It's very important, this result we get here in Catalonia, and for me we just need wet or damp or very cold.
Sebastian Loeb's uncharacteristic mistake cost him victory in France. He'll be looking to make amends.
Now the position we have is that we have to push, and we'll see after.
And there's Richard Burns. He lost a championship lead after a couple of poor performances, and he admits he's got to do better if he wants a shot at the championship.
The 7th or 8th we've had the last couple of rallies. Okay, it's enough to keep us up there, but it's not going to be enough to win.
With just 2 rounds to go, the title race will go down to the wire. Only 6 points separate the top 4. And as our analysts can attest, things are tense. Here's Nikki Grist and Penny Mallory.
The penultimate rally of the year, the Rallye Catalunya. With me is Nikki Grist, and of course there's 4 drivers now who could take the World Championship title, and everyone's going to be driving like crazy, aren't they, this weekend?
I think it's going to be a fabulous event. I think the roads here are very demanding in themselves, but I think we're going to have a lot of spectacular action, and I know one guy that really wants to almost turn round is duck on this event, and that is Carlos Sainz.
The championship leader. He's on his home turf. Thousands of fans turn out to see him. Now, Petter Solberg is just biting at his heels in the championship, and Petter's going to be praying for rain, isn't he?
He is, but I think Petter has to be careful that he doesn't try too hard too soon, because I think from his point of view, he can easily lose it in one round as well as win it. So if it stays dry, beautiful blue skies like we've got, I think he's going to be really up against it. The Michelin is historically always much better here in the dry, and I think he'll be up against it from that perspective.
I am told, though, rain is forecast, so Petter will remain optimistic as ever. Now, of course, equal third on points with Petter is Richard Burns, although he's third overall because he hasn't won a rally this year. He's had a dreadful year, and his performance seems to get worse and worse. The last 2 events have been a disaster for him.
I think he's on the slippery slope, unfortunately. I think he's going down and down, and I think he's really up against it to actually perform and get on the podium now. I mean, it was something that was quite easy to him at the start of the year. Now we're getting towards the end, it's getting worse and worse. I think he's going to struggle, and I don't really see him challenging now for the championship.
I agree completely. I think there's a very bad atmosphere in Persia, and he's really not enjoying his time there at all. And of course, the 4th driver who is in contention for the World Rally Championship title is Sebastian Loeb, another Citroën driver. They've got 4 cars here this weekend. Sebastian's going to be quick, isn't he?
Sebastian, even in the wet, was far quicker than Petter on those Pirellis, which were far better, and he was on Michelin, so I think that there's every possibility he is going to be the fastest guy here, without a doubt. And he really does like Wales as well, and he's confident there. I think, although he's those 6 points behind, he will be there at the end, I promise you.
I think we're going to see 4 drivers driving their absolute socks off this weekend for Rallye Catalunya.
It should be a good show, guys, since this is a tarmac rally like no other. These Spanish roads are wide and flowing. Sparks fly as corners are cut, thrilling the thousands of fans who pack every inch of the road to watch their hero, El Matador, Carlos Sainz. Based near Barcelona, this is one of the biggest endurance tests of the whole season. In 3 days, there's 22 stages. Early Friday morning and sub-zero temperatures up in the mountains make tire choice a tough decision. The freezing conditions haven't deterred the thousands of fans who have come to see this man, Carlos Sainz. The Spaniard is the only driver who can clinch the title this weekend. But he hasn't won his home event since 1995. It's not a great start, and after the opening stage, Carlos will find himself down in 8th. Solberg is still on a real high after his fantastic win in the wet in Corsica, so the icy conditions here in Spain should suit the Norwegian and his Pirelli tires.
Right minus half long, half 2 left tightens. Keep in, sharp 2, right plus keep in. Early 3 left.
Immediately, Solberg gets into his rhythm.
Right 20, early 2 right minus.
He's 3.4 seconds faster than Sainz. That's a great start to his title charge.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In contrast, championship rival Burns has been uninspiring on tarmac this year, and it looks like his title chances are slipping away. The Englishman is 7th quickest through Latrona. Sebastian Loeb missed out on scoring vital points in Corsica last weekend. And the Frenchman intends to attack right from the start here in Spain. Marcus Gronholm still has an outside chance of the title, but the reigning world champ needs a win here to keep him in the running. It's not a good start from the Finn. He's on a compound that's too soft, and his tires are already wearing out. Marco Martin is the last of the outsiders for the coveted driver's crown. The Estonian has been very competitive on tarmac this year with the new Focus, and he'll want to reward his team with victory here in Catalonia. While both of his Citroën teammates are chasing the title, Colin McRae is out of the running and almost certainly out of next year's championship. The Scot is 6th. Tommy Mäkinen is another legend, waving goodbye to the WRC as he's retiring at the end of the year. This is his 10th Rallye Catalunya, but it's a disappointing start for the Finn. He struggles with cold tires and the slippery conditions and oversteers on the first corner. Francois Deval equaled his career best in Corsica with a 3rd place and a podium finish, and it's an equally impressive start here in Spain. The young Belgian is just 1/10 of a second slower than Solberg. It's not been a great year for Gilles Panizzi, but he's hoping for a good result this weekend on an event he won just a year ago. Just look at how fast he's going on the wide open roads that are one of the key features of this rally. This is the closest drivers get to a racing circuit in the championship. There's still so much work to do with the Skoda Fabia, and Tony Gardemeister is down in 13th. His teammate Didier Auriol is celebrating his 150th rally start here in Spain. The last time he competed here 2 years ago, he won the event. Auriol's also way off the pace and 10th quickest. One stage down and Petter Solberg is out in front, but is very close, and even championship leader Carlos Sainz is only 3.4 seconds behind in 8th. Martin's not feeling 100% after ending last week's rally in a ditch, and there's still 7 stages left to go on day 1. More about Marco Martin coming up.
We we've seen on the previous stage one of the high-speed sections of the rally. Stage 2 starts with one of the slowest. It has a relentless succession of corners on a very abrasive surface. At the halfway point of this stage, there's a junction right. Here, crews cut the corner and drag mud and gravel onto the road, making it the most slippery junction of the rally. They've now joined a fast section, all on a much smoother tarmac surface. Unless a driver's tyres are working well, he won't be able to totally commit himself to this high-speed section of road.
More on those cuts later. Right now, Marcus Gronholm continues to struggle on a soft tire compound, and he can't be looking forward to these next two stages. Nikki, what's the story?
Gronholm wanted to start the day on a harder compound, but his team and Michelin overruled him. After only 5 kilometers of the very first stage, the rubber in his tyre started to overheat. At that point, his tread is almost jelly-like. Look how much harder he has to turn on the steering. He is struggling on every tight corner. Let's take a look at that from the outside. You can see he's on full lock. Look at his arms like a corkscrew. The car's drifting wide, way off the line. The other tyre marks on the road show you the line he should be taking. Looks like he was right and his team was wrong. No wonder he's frustrated.
I wonder if he's talking about Corrado Provera, the team manager. Peugeot teammate Richard Burns, meanwhile, is a little happier. His performance is certainly better than in Corsica and San Remo. Francois Duval stalls on the start line of stage 2 and then suffers with brake problems. There's also trouble in the other Ford of Marco Martin. Marco's having a lot of neck pain after his huge shunt in Corsica just last weekend. Due to the high G-forces here in Spain, he's in a lot of pain. Let's ride along.
Long tightens, 4 minus left slow, long, long. 3 plus right, long tightens. 6 left cut. 70, 3 minus left hair, don't cut. And 4 left in. Into 3 minus right hair. 50, 6 minus right fast. Over crest. 5 left in, 5 minus right, don't cut. 30, 4 right, 4 plus left. 33 left, 3 minus right hook. 50, 4 left, long, long. And 3 minus right. 43 left, long, long.
By the end of stage 3, Marco slips down to 4th overall. Carlos Sainz seems to be really enjoying himself at his home event. The Spaniard is second quickest on both stages 2 and 3, and he claims second overall. Sebastian Loeb's also found his rhythm, but he's even faster than his Citroën teammate. He wins both stages and takes the outright rally lead. Petter Solberg has made an excellent start to this event. On stage 2, he suffers a puncture. Expandable foam inside the tire prevents it from going flat.
5 left plus, opens over crest. 6 right plus, slow, neat, 5 left over crest. Into 2 left minus, half long tightens. 2 left minus, half long tightens.
Unfortunately, he does lose time, and more importantly, the lead.
6 left.
Slippery at the end there.
Very, that last 4Ks.
The ABS failure went, so that's why I was a little bit nervous.
3 stages are completed in the WRC's Rallye Catalunya, and Sebastian Loeb is 9.5 seconds ahead of Sainz. That puncture proves costly for Solberg. The Norwegian drops a third as crews head back to service.
Petter, pretty tricky conditions out there this morning for you.
Yeah, it was difficult. The second stage was, very difficult. I had a lot of respect for that one, so I lost a little bit too much time. At the same time, I cut to the corner. I lost a little bit too much time. I had a puncture.
No rain for you either?
Tomorrow.
Solberg's day is about to get much worse. Mechanics discover an alternator problem just before the end of service. He's late leaving and picks up a 50-second time penalty. That could severely affect his championship hopes.
Not at all good for a man chasing the championship this year.
Well, yeah, that's the way it goes, you know, but 50 seconds isn't the end of the world. You know, we just have to try and fight back from now and hope that rain comes a little bit earlier and just keep pushing. And, you know, we can still get some good points from here, so it's not all over yet.
Sebastian, a great start for you. You've won 2 out of 3 stages.
Yes, for the moment everything is going well. The car seems to be very fast here because we can see Carlos is just behind me, and I think we have made a very good tire choice this morning too. So now we are leading the race. That's the most important.
Carlos, you must be very pleased with your start to your home rally.
Well, at the moment, yes, not bad. I think it's going well. No problems. We have, I think, choose the right tire, and so far, no problems.
Sainz is a hero here in his native Spain, but outside his home country, no one expected him to be leading the championship after moving to Citroën.
I said last year I was prepared to get this year's challenge in a top way, and I think what I said, I've done it. I'm just pushing hard, and I hope the people that was criticizing just think a little bit more. But the good thing is that I have enjoyed myself working with a very professional team, very motivated team, very young engineers which live the passion as I live, and for me that is also helping me to keep my passion, to keep my motivation. We need to concentrate in this rally, do the best we can. After the rally, we will check where we are and which are the options.
Stick around, those cuts Spain is famous for are coming up. Welcome back to the WRC's Rallye Catalunya, where drivers try to get the fastest and straightest racing line possible.
We talked about cuts in San Remo, but here in Catalonia, they're in a league of their own. When they cut off the tarmac surface with the inside wheel on the gravel, they'll be throwing the mud out onto the road. Now, the problem for the drivers is if there is some iffy weather and we get some rain, all this gravel on an already slippery tarmac surface will literally turn all this to mud.
Many people cut every possible corner, and there is no need for do it in every place. There are places where you definitely have to cut and you are quicker for it, but you just have to follow the lines people have taken before, because they put so much gravel on the road that you just have to follow, otherwise you don't have any grip.
Just literally have to turn the car off the road in some places and wait for the big crash underneath, because the cars are set low for a typical tarmac rally, but when you cut off the road you really hit the inside of the corner hard.
Another problem for the crews on this rally is that there's a number of stages that are used in the opposite direction. This particular cut has been used uphill, but when the crews approach in the opposite direction, they'll go from full grip on the entry. They then have to turn across this gravel with virtually no grip to get the apex in the opposite direction. This would make it very, very treacherous for the first few cars as they clear a line for everybody else following. Next up is the longest stage of the day, which also contains the most famous section in Rallye Catalunya. The flyover bridge has the best vantage point for the hairpin junction, where spectators gather in their thousands. They're already out in force, hoping to see a repeat of last year's spectacular showmanship by rally winner Gilles Panizzi.
First past the fans this year is their very own Carlos Sainz. The Spaniard has a trouble-free run through stages 4 and 5, and his second place is safe. If he keeps this up, he'll be in a strong position to claim the world title 11 years after he last won it. If he picks up the pace even more, he'll start to put pressure on the rally leader. Sebastian Loeb is absolutely flying, and he completes a hat trick of stage wins on San Julia. After 5 stages, Loeb has an 11-second lead over his Citroën teammate. Won here in 2000, but his experience counts for nothing on this famous hairpin.
3-race open.
Scott recovers after this brush with the arm go, but he's still down in 6th. Keep it here. Plenty more drama to come from the Rallye Catalunya. Welcome back to Rallye Catalunya, where Marco Martin is finding it hard to push due to his neck injury. He can cope for about 6 miles of a stage, but then he really starts to struggle. Despite his injury, he's 3rd overall. After the dramas of service, Petter Solberg is out of the fight. But still, he's entertaining to watch. Just look at how he cuts this corner. His Subaru takes off as he aims for the quickest line. The tension's now cleared in Marcus Gronholm's car. A more relaxed Finn doesn't equal better times, and the reigning world champ is still out of the points and down in 11th. Gilles Panizzi has sorted out his tires. His antics under this bridge last year have left some calling it the Panizzi hairpin. But there are no party tricks for the fans today. After a slow start, Panizzi's teammate Richard Burns also seems to be hitting his stride. The Englishman was 2nd here last year, 5 stages down, and he's moved up to 4th. That's great news for his championship hopes.
30 right max, 70 fast right, 10 fast right in.
He's quick despite taking a much safer line than Solberg through these same corners. Burns has his sights set on Marco Martin, who's moved up to 3rd, but it's welcome relief for the Estonian to head back to service. The Ford driver has really suffered with the neck injury sustained last week in Corsica during this dramatic crash on the final day.
Marco, 3rd overall at this moment is very good for a man suffering from a stiff neck.
I must say it's not it hasn't been a very good morning. It's been quite difficult to drive, especially on the longer stages, and I found it a lot more difficult than I expected, because normally I feel no problem at all, but the G-forces in the car actually make my neck very painful, and it's quite difficult to keep the concentration and get good lines, because you sort of need to be relaxed to feel the car and understand the notes nicely. So if you have a bit of a problem, it's not easy to drive.
We've had a really good morning so far. We didn't have a great tyre choice initially, but these last 2 stages, the middle 2 stages of the day, we pushed really, really hard, and we managed to get up to 4th place at the moment. It's been quite a big effort, but it's enjoyable as well.
On to the final 3 stages of the opening day in Spain.
Fast left plus in to flat right, 50 braking, slow, medium right over crest, in, 20, easy left plus, cut.
Richard Burns slides wide and clips a wall. His Peugeot is facing in the wrong direction. That incident proves costly for Burns, who loses 40 seconds and drops from 4th to 7th.
20, easy left plus, cut, 18, slow, medium right, to medium right minus hook, 30.
That means the best of the Peugeots is now Gilles Panizzi. The Frenchman sets the fastest time on stages 6 and 7 and ends the day in 4th. After his opening stage tire trouble, there's not much left for Marcus Gronholm to fight for. But this afternoon, he's chosen the right tires, and the difference is remarkable. Marcus moves up to 10th on the final stage.
If you compare Gronholm's 2 runs through the same piece of road, we can see just how big a difference having a harder tyre compound has made this afternoon. Remember, this is exactly the same stage. Run once this morning as stage 2, and again in the afternoon as stage 7. The extra confidence from the grip on the better tyres gave him a benefit of a massive 40 seconds over 22 kilometres.
That means Marcus is now ahead of Petter Solberg, who can see his championship hopes disappearing. It's a steady day for Tommy Mäkinen, who finishes 9th in his Subaru. For the second tarmac rally in a row, Francois Duval is going really well, and the young Belgian is 5th. He's just 2 places behind his teammate, Marco Martin. It's been a brave effort from the Estonian, who's aiming for a podium finish. There's no doubt the stars of today have been the Citroens. Sebastian Loeb claimed the rally lead on the second stage, and that's where he is at the end of the day. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes, Loeb is going to be tough to beat.
Et gauche 130 moins pas corde. Sur droite 120 plus, Milan pas corde dans le ciel. 100 mètres. Droite 120 plus. Et gauche 130 moins Milan. Et double attention. Ciel pour droite 143. Ferme 120 plus corde gravette. Ferme 120 plus corde gravette sur gauche 130 long. Et droite à fond sur attention. Gauche 144 frein. Pour droite frein. Pour gauche 110 long pas corde sortie. Léger humide. 200 mètres. 200 mètres, droite 120 bon rail. Droite 120 bon rail sur gauche à fond.
Sebastian isn't the only Citroen driver to have driven well today. You also have to give a shout out to Carlos Sainz. He's been consistent all year, and that's why he's now leading the championship. If Carlos can hold on to second place, it just might be enough to realize his dream of another world title. Have a look at how Sainz handles these Spanish roads. At 40 years old, he's got lightning quick reflexes.
Para izquierda buena barras, para como Pedro echa una banquita, poco tarde de tirar Rasante y ras, para izquierda rápida menos corta para uno César, Rasante derecha rápida menos tira poco y ras, 2, izquierda rápida menos mucho ras, para uno corto César, derecha buena más se abre, abrirse, acaba derecha acá en cuarta de se abre con fe, para uno corto Fernando, izquierda caliente, le cierra poco, para derecha rápido o corta, para Rasante izquierda rápido con el cierre a fondo, acaba Rasante para uno, derecha buena más, se cierra y se abre, César, para izquierda bola más, poco tarde le cierra antes de árbol, acaba casa, cierra y ras, Azar. Para derecha rápido corta.
As fast as he looks, Carlos finishes the stage 8.5 seconds slower than Loeb. However, the veteran is not too worried.
Do you feel it's going to be possible to catch teammate Sebastian Loeb tomorrow?
Well, at the moment it seems to be very, very difficult. He's going very well, but, well, rally is still very long and you never know.
Sebastian, you must be getting used to the feeling of leading rallies now.
Yes, I hope it will continue. But okay, yes, for the moment everything is going well. We are leading with 26 seconds of Carlos, so it's a perfect first day, and we have to continue like this tomorrow.
Petter, 2 minutes down. It's not looking too good for some big points.
No, that's for sure. It's quite far behind, and okay, it's just the first day. But still, if it starts to rain tomorrow, he can turn around completely.
It's not so good if it stays like this, but I'm confident we can push Deval, try and get back on terms with him, and fight for that 5th place.
Here's how things look at the end of day 1. 3 of the 4 championship contenders are in the points right now, but Sainz has definitely got company. Nicky Citroen look like they're in control, but there's still plenty of work to do.
Citroen's had a fantastic day. With Sebastian Loeb leading the rally, he's come straight out of the box as predicted and led right from the front. But the biggest surprise for me was Carlos Sainz. I didn't expect him to finish where he was, but if he stays where he is, his championship at the end of this rally could be a real possibility. Marco Martin really has struggled, and he's in some serious pain from his injuries in Corsica. We've got 2 more long days to go, and the action is far from over.
As dawn breaks over the Rallye Catalunya, let's check in with Penny Mallory at the start line for what we can expect today.
Day 2, and there are 8 stages today, 131 kilometres of competitive driving. The first 3 stages are new to the drivers, and a lot of the drivers have complained they're just too fast, more like a racetrack. The following 2 stages, run at lunchtime, are repeats from yesterday, and the final 3 stages are these fast ones, repeated later on today. Now, yesterday we saw a lot of sparks flying on the stages as the drivers cut the corners, but they'll be wanting to keep the cars on the tarmac today because they risk punctures when they cut the corners like that. Now, weather-wise, it looks beautiful and bright right now, but apparently there's a good chance of rain this afternoon. And as we know now, rain on a tarmac rally can change the leaderboard completely.
Well, here is a look at the leaderboard, Penny. 3 of the championship contenders, Loeb, Sainz, and Burns, are currently in the points. But Petter Solberg is out of sight, down in 11th. The fans are out early as the WRC drivers head to the start line, warming up their tires in the cold morning air. First up for the big boys, Didier Auriol. He won this event 2 years ago, but so far he's really struggled with the Fabio. Just over a mile into today's opening stage, he's forced to retire with a burned-out clutch. It's a premature end for the former world champ on his 150th rally start. That means once again Tony Gardemeister is the sole Skoda survivor. The Finn is currently down in 13th and has little chance of scoring points. There must be some head scratching going on as the progress of the all-new Fabia just hasn't been as quick as the Czech team would have hoped. There are some really long straightaways on this stage, and the Skoda still manages a very impressive 125 miles per hour. After the dramas of yesterday, Petter Solberg knows only too well that his best chance of a comeback will be if it rains. At the moment, there's little prospect of the weather changing, and the Norwegian completes today's opening stage, still 11th overall. It's not much better for his Subaru teammate Tommi Mäkinen. This is his 10th Rallye Catalunya, and the 4-time world champ is well off the pace. On stage 9, he's overtaken by fellow countryman Marcus Gronholm. Marcus is desperately trying to claw back into the points after yesterday's disappointment of the team choosing the wrong tires. The tarmac terror, Gilles Panizzi, is back to the form that saw him dominate all of the tarmac rallies last year.
These wide open roads are more suited for racing cars than rally cars, but just look at the speed and the engine's rev counter. A top speed of 214 and almost on the engine's rev limiter.
214 kilometers, for those of you keeping score at home, is 132 miles an hour. So far, Panizzi is the fastest. Next through is Marco Martin. The Estonian is still in considerable pain with his neck injury, and yet he's only half a second slower than Panizzi, despite not feeling 100%.
250 braking, 3 plus right, long, tighten.
The long open corners are creating a huge amount of G-force, and that's putting added strain on his neck.
130, 3 plus left, long.
With Panizzi and Martin so quick, the pressure's really on Carlos Sainz. Overnight, the local hero has changed the setup of his Citroen, and the splits are showing he's off the pace. Let's compare Sainz's time to the man to beat on this stage, Gilles Panizzi. Sainz started the day 8 seconds ahead of Panizzi, so now his second place is in danger. He's losing an incredible amount of time for just one stage on tarmac. 15 seconds slower, and now he slipped behind Martin and Panizzi to fourth. With a 26-second lead, it's unlikely that anyone can catch Sébastien Loeb on this morning's opening stage. The Frenchman is unfazed by his first ever run through Olost. He's third fastest, and his lead is safe. The first stage of the day is completed. Sébastien Loeb has extended his lead to nearly half a minute. But just look at the chasing pack with Martin and Panizzi on his tail. Sainz has dropped to fourth.
The debate on power between the teams is almost constant. And on that last stage, we have a chance to compare a car from each team. As the cars exit a corner on the start of the long straight, just look at the pure power of the Ford Focus's Cosworth engine. Even over just 500 meters, Marco Martin has a clear advantage.
Francois Duval has been quietly quick and consistent so far. Is the Ford driver just waiting to make his move? Rallye Catalunya continues on speed. In between Catalunia's stages 9 and 10, drivers take a break, check their cars, and catch up with their rivals in this competitive but friendly sport.
Our time 13:14.0, 14.0.
This weekend's Rallye Catalunya sees crews having to drive over 600 miles of road sections in between stages. That's some of the longest distances in the WRC.
The first part of the road section is always quite busy. You've just come out of a stage, add up all the times, you get the times coming in over the radio. So unless it's over sort of half an hour long, really, there's plenty to do.
Road sections are an opportunity to communicate with your team, but also to make those vital repairs. Sometimes you have to improvise. It isn't just a question of the mechanics of the cars. Refueling can be a problem as well. In the past, we've seen drivers retire from rallies after running out of fuel.
Because the stages are quite far away from the service sometimes, we don't have enough fuel to go from the service park back to the service park again. So between two stages, we'll stop off at an official refuel point. We can't just stop at any garage beside the road.
The second stage of the day is a new challenge for all the competitors. This test will be run twice, once in the morning and again in the afternoon. In the middle of the stage, the cars pass through a small village. The peace and quiet of the Catalan countryside will be shattered with the sound of the world's best rally cars. Almost every corner in here the cars can cut. This will make the road very dirty with gravel. This will get worse as the day goes on. It's going to penalise the leading cars who are running in reverse order.
On to stage 10, where Tony Gardemeister is the first through. There are a lot of cuts, and he's finding it very difficult.
Oikein koplus aukeaa, usko, 5. Vasen koplus kirraa, 5.
Marcus Gronholm finished fourth here last year, but he's struggling with the dirt and gravel that's been dragged onto the road by drivers who have gone before him. Colin McRae has won this event twice, but this year the Scot is suffering with brake problems. There's air in the fluid and the brake pedal is a lot longer than normal, which is very unnerving at these speeds.
Slower. 6 right cut into 6 left minus cut into 5 right plus tight line cut.
Richard Burns is really finding his rhythm. The Englishman comes home in the top 4 on both stages 10 and 11.
Medium left minus long, and medium left minus 30, medium left minus in long, 20 flat right to flat left and key right in long, 30 key left plus in and key left plus, 20 flat right, 40 braking, flat left long 30, medium right minus 10, key right cut, long 20, easy left 30, key right minus and 90 right in, 50, slow key left over crest and slow key left, long, 30, flat left, 30, left max, 80, key right plus, and key right, in long, 20, key left plus, 10, sand, key left minus sand cut, long, 10, medium right plus 20, slow medium left, and medium left minus tight, and key left plus, to flat right, 50, key right, and key right tightens, 80,
Richard's still got a lot to do if he is to catch Francois Deval, who's 25 seconds ahead. The young Belgian struggling with some nagging brake problems. Still, he holds Burns at bay and has now got his sights set on his former teammate Carlos Sainz. The Spaniard's still not happy with his setup, and he's complaining of understeer. These are worrying times for the championship points leader. But Sainz's troubles are good news for Peugeot. It's Gilles Panizzi who's spearheading their attack. The Frenchman does not disappoint. He's quickest through stage 11 and now just 4 seconds behind Marco Martin. The roads are really dirty and it's a tough job to keep his Ford Focus in front.
3 minus left, 50, 3 plus right.
Marco's neck is still sore, and it's a brave performance from the 27-year-old. He's pushing really hard. Sebastian Loeb is only too aware that his rivals are stepping up the pace. He's going to have to push as well all the way to the finish. After 11 stages of the WRC's Rallye Catalunya, Loeb leads by 26 seconds ahead of Martin as crews head back to service. Carlos Sainz has 20 minutes to solve the problems with his car.
Carlos, not a good morning for you. What was the problem?
We have just a little bit of understeering and we decided to change slightly the setup, but didn't work very well.
Was that a mistake on your part?
Obviously, it's me who take the decision altogether with the engineers, but now it doesn't matter.
Carlos has made that mistake perhaps you needed him to make.
I don't know. For the moment, I try to win this race. It's difficult because you have a big fight with Marco and Panizzi. They are, for the moment, a little bit behind, but they are trying to come back and they are going very fast, so I have to push.
For Marco Martin, service provides an opportunity to get some treatment on that troublesome neck.
Well, I don't know if you actually see Marco's neck, but he's got an awful lot of inflammation and swelling around his neck. So primarily the first border call is to get rid of all the inflammation and swelling that is there. We've actually been able to put a support around his neck to try and limit the amount of sideways movement that he's got, or that is happening to him. But that's when he's feeling it the most.
Just give us a guide to what the G-forces are like in the cars. We see you rattling around in there. It must be pretty horrendous sometimes.
It is on tarmac, because the change of direction is so fierce on tarmac because of the fantastic grip that we get. It really does put a lot of pressure on your body. It's not just your neck, your whole body takes a bit of a pounding on a tarmac rally, and especially here when both of our necks are a little bit suspect from Corsica, it's making it difficult.
Coming up after the break, the Spanish fans show just how much they love this sport as the excitement builds in Rallye Catalunya.
You're watching Rally de España.
Stage 12 in Catalonia is the second run through the famous San Julia, and it's filled with fans. This is Tommy Mäkinen's final Rally Catalunya. The four-time world champ hasn't made his mark so far this year and is languishing out of the points. He's facing pressure from his Subaru teammate Petter Solberg. On stage 12, the Norwegian overtakes the Finn to claim 10th overall. Solberg's still nearly 2.5 minutes off the leader, and the championship contender is out of the points. The rally is improving for Marcus Gronholm. The reigning world champion is third quickest through stage 12, and he moves up to 8th and into the points.
Vaseri tiukka. 7.
This rally is also getting better for his teammate, Richard Burns. On the stage after San Julia, the Englishman is quickest. It's the first time the 2001 world champ has won a stage since Finland back in August.
Flat rate 73.
Francois Duval's also back to his winning ways. The 22-year-old claims his first stage win of the rally on the second run through San Julia. Duval is keeping the pressure on Carlos Sainz. The Spaniard is finally getting used to the feel of his Zara, but still he's only 10th quickest on stage 12, and Francois is less than a second behind. On stage 13, Sainz shows he's world class and pulls back some time to stay ahead of the Belgian. Is there still life in the Peugeot 206, or have the latest generation cars passed it by? Stay with us to find out here on Speed Channel. The big battle in Spain right now is for second overall. Gil Panizzi versus Marco Martin. The asphalt ace attacks the perilously dirty corners with his aggressive and very fast style. Martin's also pushing. He's not going to just give up his second place. Just look at Panizzi. He's furiously cutting corners and trying to grab as much time off of Martin as possible. At the end of stage 12, he's gotten the better of Marco. The Frenchman claims second, but by the narrowest of margins, only 1/10 of a second. Determined not to be beaten, Martin defies his pain and starts Teradel. At just 3 miles, it's going to be difficult to claw back the time. The Estonian needs 2:58.8 to retake second place.
30, short 6 left, 6 minus right past long.
He's done it. It's an excellent effort from Martin, but the gap is just half a second. This fight has got to be worrying Sebastian Loeb. As Martin and Panizzi push each other, they're also eating into Loeb's time. To keep them at bay, Sebastian has no choice but to match their pace. He's safe for now. Loeb's got a lead of 27 seconds, but bad news for Francois Duval. Fastest on stage 12, he took 4th overall, but a penalty for being late to stage 13 moves him back to 5th. Is the tarmac terror Panizzi back?
Gilles, you've got faster and faster today. Where does the speed come from?
It's not easy, and the difference between the car it's very, very small. And I push maximum, I do the maximum, and okay, I am happy at this moment because the time with Sebastian is a little bit shorter, but I continue to push, and we will see.
You seemed quite confident yesterday before you had that slide off. How's the confidence today?
It's still pretty high. We didn't have a great time on the very first stage this morning, but I changed something a little bit in the setup of the car just for that stage, and we'll see how it goes the second time through now.
So how's the equipment holding up?
Christian, on this rally there's lots of big cuts as we see. What sort of protection have you got underside of the car to keep it in one piece?
Well, we've got a big aluminium sum guard at the front and a big red diff guard in steel at the back. The cuts are important on this rally because every year the road gets repaired and the step between the tarmac and the cut gets bigger and bigger, so it is difficult for the car.
What is it that we actually see spark underneath the car?
Well, usually there's always a bolt or something like that sticks down a bit, and that is sparking. More the steel, or people have titanium strips in the car protection, and that sparks a lot.
I brake for you.
Rallye Catalunya is one of the most popular on the calendar, and the fans come from all over the world.
3 more stages to go today, and a further pounding in store for all the cars. This stage is run on a wide main road. There are very long, fast corners that will test the nerve of a top WRC driver. One thing for sure, high speeds can be expected. Carlos Sainz will have to hold off the powerful Ford of Francois Duval, while the battle for second between Panizzi and Martin is one that everyone will be watching.
Tony Gardemeister has only competed here twice before.
120. Huomio, Vaseri pysyy jarrussa. Jatkuu pitkä oikea eri miinus pidä. Jatkuu pitkä vasen eri kirra aukeaa 140. Tarkasti vaan.
A misjudgment from the Skoda driver doesn't help his cause.
Jatkuu pitkä vasen eri kirra aukeaa 140. Tarkkana vaan pyörää.
Fellow Finn Marcus Gronholm also finds himself struggling some 2 minutes down the leaderboard, but he sets the 3rd fastest time on stage 14.
Vasen, eri, 5, oikein nopea, ahdas, 9. Hajosi jotain, siitä hajosi jotain tuon leikkaalla.
Thankfully for the Finn, this moment on stage 15 doesn't cost him too much time. He finishes the day in 8th. Richard Burns is far enough ahead of Colin McRae to feel safe in 6th. All he has to do is stay out of trouble and hope his Peugeot won't let him down tomorrow.
In
long, 60, medium right plus, big cut, 20 4 medium left, in.
The potential points he could score might just be enough to keep him in the championship hunt. His rival, Carlos Sainz, will be hoping he can reverse his fortunes on day 3.
Izquierda rápida menos de tierra para 2. Derecha rápida menos de tierra poco con fe, posible un grado más, 2. Rasante fondo 2. Derecha rápida menos de tierra poco, 3. Cambio de asfalto. Derecha rápida menos de puente, para izquierda rápida no cortar, 2. Izquierda, buena más de tierra con fe, 2. Rasante uno corto, cambio de asfalto. Izquierda rápida, ojo, poco posible sexta, 4. Cambio de asfalto. Izquierda, derecha rápida menos poco tarde, 4. Rápida menos poco tarde, 4. Derecha rápida de tierra y ras para 1. Izquierda rápida con de tierra, 2. Derecha rápida, para izquierda rápida, abrirse. Izquierda rápida, menos
If things stay as they are and Carlos finishes 4th, he'll still lead the championship, but only by 1 point.
Izquierda buena más, tierra poco y ras.
He'd like a bigger margin to take to the last round in Wales, but to get that, he'll have to move in front of both Gilles Panizzi and Marco Martin. The dogfight between the Frenchman and the Estonian rages on throughout the afternoon. The reason why they call Gilles Panizzi the tarmac terror is because his absolute 100% total commitment to driving flat out when racing on asphalt. Just listen to how aggressive he is with the throttle.
Gauche 85. Pour droite à fond, 50 mètres. Gauche 85 long. 60 mètres. Droite sans bref. 30 mètres, gauche 95, presque plus bref. 40 mètres, droite 90 plus. En gauche ferme 97 plus. 60 mètres. Droite 92, presque plus. En gauche 90. En droite 85 plus. Pour gauche à fond et 10 mètres, droite 90.
Martin wins 2 of this afternoon's 3 stages and opens up a gap of nearly 16 seconds. And he closes the gap to rally leader Sebastian Loeb.
200, 6 minus right.
The Zara driver has had to push on every one of today's stages, but once again, it's an excellent drive from the Frenchman to keep Martin, Panizzi, and Sainz at bay.
Carlos, it's not been the best of days for you today.
Not really a good day. From the beginning this morning we did small changes in the car and really didn't work very well, and then, I don't know, I couldn't come back in the good rhythm.
Do you feel you can hunt Sebastian Loeb down tomorrow?
I think Sebastian is a quick enough driver to keep the position, but if something happens to him, or you never know what can happen, it's still many stages to go, then we could have a chance, but otherwise we have to look behind and make sure we get at least second.
Sebastian, it's looking pretty good for victory, but Marco Martin is coming very fast at you.
Yes, he's pushing very hard, and we had a little problem with the brakes in the 2 first stages from the last lap, and we lost some time of Marco, but in the last stage it was okay. The car was going very well, and we tried to push, and we have done again the scratch, so that's very nice, and we see we are competitive, the car is competitive, and so 20 seconds should be enough for tomorrow, I hope.
Here's the leaderboard after day 2. Loeb has a 20-second lead over Martin, but there are still 6 more stages tomorrow and just over 60 miles of hard driving. Petter Solberg is still out of the points in 10th, but he could still catch a break. Nikki, what's the news in service?
It's been a kind of something and nothing day today. Sebastian Loeb has held on to his lead quite comfortably and out there in front. But Carlos Sainz losing all that time, how that happened, he doesn't know. But for me, the guy of today has been Panizzi. All of a sudden, he's found his tarmac speed. If Loeb runs into trouble, I think Panizzi could be winning his first tarmac rally for quite some time. Now, you've heard of the saying, the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Well, they say tomorrow it's going to be falling up here in the mountains around the stages. If that's the case, it could really spice things up.
As we thought, the weather did change for the end of Rallye Catalunya. For an update of what's in store, let's check in with Penny Mallory.
Welcome to day 3 of the Rally of Catalonia. 100 kilometres of competitive driving, 6 stages, 3 repeated twice. Now, the first of those 3 is a shortened version of yesterday's fast, wide stage. The other 2 are reversed from yesterday. But the big news today is this, the rain. It has been pouring down overnight and it hasn't stopped this morning. It's exactly the conditions that Petter Solberg has been dreaming of because his Pirelli tyres work brilliantly in these conditions, and we could even see him charging up the leaderboard, making up loads of time, and you never know, maybe even into the points. It's going to be horribly slippy out there, particularly where the drivers cut the corners and throw mud and gravel onto the road. So I would expect that leaderboard to change.
First to sample those conditions will be Skoda's Tony Gardemeister, but his day isn't off to a good start. He's got a puncture even before he tackles the morning's opening stage. He nearly doesn't make it to San Bartomeu in time. To make matters worse, he stalls at the start line. He gets lucky a second time, but the Finn is first to discover just how slippery the conditions are in the wet on his Michelin tires. In contrast, fellow countryman Tommy Mäkinen makes a great start. These are the exact conditions that Petter Solberg hoped for, with the Subaru's Pirelli tires giving him the best grip possible.
Now with this rain, there's maybe a possibility of 2 places up the leaderboard.
I hope so. You know, we need some points before England, you know, because yesterday and the day before was terrible, so we need some points.
To get those points, he'll have to find a way past reigning world champion Marcus Gronholm. The Finn is on Michelin's and he's slipping and sliding all over the place. He's already slower than Solberg through the stage.
Ja oikea laita vasen eri. 7 ja vasen eri. 8 ja vasen nopea maali.
Gronholm's almost 17 seconds slower. It's only the first stage of the day, and already the Subarus are making their mark. That's troublesome for the drivers using Michelins.
Our tire is not working at all. Oh. Marcus, you haven't really enjoyed the first 2 days, and it doesn't look like you've enjoyed that one.
No grip in the tires, absolutely zero. This is our rain tires, but it's you will see Petter and Tommy will have the best times here, no question about it. Otherwise, I will eat my hat. Okay?
Richard Burns is also struggling. He really needs to keep Solberg behind him, but things aren't looking good. If the Norwegian is that much faster, then he's going to be charging up the leaderboard and threatening the Englishman. Sure enough, Burns is way off the pace. In fact, 26 seconds slower. This could be the deciding day in his championship.
I think today Richard's about staying on the road and being a top Michelin runner, because no one can touch the Subarus with the Pirellis.
No. Just to stay on the road is a bit of an adventure. There's no heat in the tyre, there's no grip at all.
It's an equally important day for Carlos Sainz. His Citroen's got more power than Burns'
Izquierda
Peugeot.
rápida, para derecha rápida,
And the
izquierda
Spaniard
poco.
is the best of the rest. He's third quickest on the stage behind the Subarus. Out in front, the battle for second goes on. Gilles Panizzi has always gone well in the rain, but not this morning. He's 11th quickest. That gives Marco Martin a great opportunity to increase the gap.
Six right, long. Remember, you got it. Easy left. 40,
It's a
right,
big slide, and yet the Estonian is 5 seconds faster than Panizzi. Sebastian Loeb's got to be careful. It was rain and lack of grip that put an end to his rally in Corsica just last weekend. The Frenchman makes it through with no problems. He's 6th quickest and extends his rally lead.
So what now is your plan for today, bearing in mind they're not too far behind you?
The plan is to continue like this, try to stay on the road, but on this condition it's very difficult. So I think the time should be okay for the moment, so we have to continue like this.
One stage down, 5 to go, and Loeb leads by 24 seconds. Martin moves further ahead of Panizzi, but just look at the battles behind them. Further down the leaderboard, Petter Solberg has moved up to 9th as he spearheads his attack on this final day. Stick around, this is going to be a great finish.
Poco para uno.
On Catalunya stage 18, which is just 3 miles long, Solberg moves in front of Gronholm for 8th, but the top 7 drivers all held position.
Next up is the longest stage of the rally. This is a critical test for all the leading drivers, but more so for Solberg. He will be pushing hard to take full advantage of the extra grip with his Pirelli tyres. Over 35 kilometres, he could well take a big chunk of time out of his rivals. The thousands of spectators on the flyover bridge will get a great view of the action in the pouring rain. It's advantage Subaru, while the other teams will be hoping to keep them at bay.
Just look at how many fans have turned up despite the terrible weather. It's carnival time in Catalunya and the party is in full rage. For the first time in a long time, Tommy Mäkinen is really enjoying himself. He's quickest through stage 19, Villadrau. It's Mäkinen's first stage win since Cyprus in June. Just behind him is his Subaru teammate, Petter Solberg. For the second rally in a row, he's on a charge in the wet and moves up 2 more places to 6th. Marcus Gronholm may be complaining he's got no grip, but still, he's doing a pretty good job. The Finn moves ahead of Colin McRae to claim 8th overall. No wonder as the Scot is really struggling with his tires.
And second right open, 150.
Richard Burns isn't enjoying this world-famous stage either.
30, kilo plus, in long, 10, medium lane.
Nicky, as you told us earlier, those cuts have thrown mud all over the road, and Richard looks like he's really struggling with the 206.
In these conditions, even the best rally drivers in the world, in the best rally cars, have to be very careful. It's very easy to go off the road. They have to steer so delicately and brake a little earlier. Whoa. He's got that horribly wrong.
20, medium lane, minus tight.
He just braked way too late.
50. Oh, shit. Okay, I can't go now. Okay, we've gone off and the steering is broken. the steering's broke.
Okay, I need to move the car.
Yeah, the car is blocking the stage.
Dangerous place.
It's a dangerous place.
There's no way he's going to be able to continue. It's a disaster. No points scored, and now he needs a miracle if he hopes to win the world title.
Went off on some mud on the cut corner here. Just straight off into the bank and broke the steering.
Bad luck for Burns, but how will championship leader Carlos Sainz handle the same conditions? Stage 19 continues.
Inside's the difference.
It's what's inside that makes the difference. Between just handling the road.
Welcome back to a very soggy Spain. This is the first time Francois Duval has competed here in a WRC car. And he's thoroughly enjoying his battle with Carlos Sainz. The Spaniard, however, is driving with 100% commitment. Carlos thrills the fans who've camped out in the rain just to catch a glimpse of El Matador. This time last year, Gilles Panizzi was so far ahead in the rally, he entertained the crowds with some spectacular hide-heating action. 12 months later, and the Frenchman can't afford the same kind of showmanship. He's absolutely on the limit, trying to make up the 17 seconds that separates him from second place Marco Martin. He's trying so hard, his co-driving brother Hervé is taking some bone-jarring hits from the suspension. Marco Martin has bravely battled through his own pain barrier this weekend. To lose second to Panizzi now would be a huge disappointment. 3 miles into the stage, Martin loses his brakes. It was a great piece of driving to get the focus through to the finish.
86 minus right fast.
However, he does lose second place to Gilles.
Clear stage. Okay, thanks, B, copied.
Way out in front is Sebastian Loeb, who extends his lead thanks to Martin's misfortune. Things are looking good for his title hopes. After 19 stages of the WRC's Rallye Catalunya, Loeb is on course for his 4th win of the year. Martin will need to fix those brakes when he reaches service.
Marco, it's been all action for you this morning. What happened on that first stage?
The first stage we had a bit of a slide. It was proper ice driving style, but we were lucky there and managed to keep it on the road.
You dropped down to 3rd. Can you pull that second place back from Panizzi?
We're making big changes to the setup, and if it works, then we can maybe fight for a place, but if it doesn't, then we just have to try to survive and keep it on the road.
Sebastian, in these conditions, you're going to have to stay very, very focused to win.
Yes, but yes, it's very difficult. Conditions are incredible. We have really no grip, and to keep the car on the road is very difficult sometimes. So we have to stay very concentrated and try to push a little bit too, because we see the Pirelli tire with Solberg and Mäkinen are coming very fast behind. So we have to push, and we'll see.
Petter, you've jumped 4 places. What a fantastic morning for you so far.
It's very good. I'm very happy, and just looking forward to the 3 next stages now and see how much we can gain.
What is the target? How far can you go?
We can't be too greedy either. So up to now, I have points and I'm very happy. So we just have to wait and see.
Over the 35 kilometers of Villadrau stage, Petter Solberg was a massive 40 seconds faster than the rally leader Sebastian Loeb. His Pirelli tyres were without doubt far superior on this morning's stages. Just look at Solberg around this slow and very slippery uphill hairpin. The extra grip is dramatic. Over just 200 meters, he's gained 1 second over his rivals.
Explain for us why Pirelli tyres go so well in these sorts of conditions.
I mean, all the tires look pretty much the same. If you look Michelin tread, our tire looks pretty much the same. All the secrets are inside the tire. And we use special compound that gets special ingredients that matches particularly well with such a slippery condition.
One of the 4 championship contenders is already out of this rally. After the break, we'll find out which of the remaining 3 will be leading the title race by the end of the day.
It's been a great rally, and I've got some great action for you in Nick's picks. First out of the box is Sebastian Loeb on day 1. For day 2, I've got Carlos Sainz, the Spaniard on home ground. And of course, in the rain, it can only be one person. That's Peter Solberg.
Sur gauche 130 moins long et ciel tout droit. Ciel tout droit et droite 132 plus Milon. 130 plus Milon et droiti. Et droite 132 plus corde légère. Sur gauche à fond pas corde. Sur droite à fond. Et gauche encore bon mi-court corde légère. 100 mètres attention. Gauche 147 frein. Pour droite 130 moins corde profonde. Sur gauche frein. Pour droite 120 plus corde. Sur gauche 120 plus corde. 80 mètres. Droite 90 plus. Droite 90 plus et gauche 120 bon. Gauche 120 bon et droitier. Droitier c'est tout droit à fond. Et droite 142 plus court sur frein. Cesar, para izquierda una más corta, se cierra y ras, Cesar mucho, para la derecha rápido corta, se abre para 2, izquierda una más de quinta, le cierra mucho y mucho ras, para la derecha una más corta, abrirse, izquierda derecha cae, cuarta, se cierra y ras, para la izquierda una más poco tarde, se cierra, abrirse, acaba rápida, ojo corta, se cierra, para la derecha rápida menos corta, para la izquierda acaba sobre cuarta, se cierra y no cortar, Cesar, derecha acá, se cierra y mucho ras, Cesar para izquierda una más ojo corta, abrirse 1, izquierda acá corta, cuarta de cierre ras, Cesar mucho, para derecha una más se cierra y mucho ras, raso para izquierda una menos corta, se cierra, Cesar para derecha acá corta, se abre mucho ras, 1, de izquierda a derecha ahora mismo corta, rasante esperando abrirse, acá buena se cierra y ras, para 1 corto, izquierda acá corta, se cierra y no cortar, para 1 corto, derecha acá corta y cuarta le cierra y mucho ras, Cesar para izquierda acá se cierra poco y poco ras, para derecha acá y cuarta le cierra poco y muchísimo ras, izquierda una más se cierra abrirse, acá en cuarta se cierra y se abre por dentro fin, para derecha acá mucho ras se cierra y se abre, para izquierda derecha una más se cierra y ras frenando, para izquierda buena tercera, poco tarde se cierra.
Into 3 left bus items. Opens 250. 6 right bus 300. 5 left bus half long. Opens neat exit. Repeating 5 left bus half long. Opens neat exit. 80. 3 left bus long keep in. Into flat 4 right. Opens. Early 6 left plus, into early 4 right minus, opens extra long 5 plus, opens over crest 40, tighten short 4.
Stay with us here on the home of the World Rally Championship, Speed Channel.
Opens 50, slippy, 6 left minus long, keep in, 40, slow, very.
Welcome back to Rallye Catalunya. The rain still hammering down. Sebastian Loeb has a real battle on his hands to hold on to the lead.
Just 3 more stages to go. The big question, can Peter Solberg keep hold of his advantage? If he continues at the same speed, second place is a real possibility. Virtually all crews have now taken a full wet tyre, although some of the Michelin runners have chosen different rubber compounds. Standing water on the roads could cause aquaplaning, and that could even affect Solberg. His Pirellis need contact with the tarmac before he can gain the extra grip.
The weather's getting even worse. Just when it was going so well for Tommi Mäkinen, bad luck strikes again. He loses his launch control and he's had to switch to manual gear changes. Things are going well, however, for Marcus Gronholm. He's quickest through La Roca and claims his 50th stage win of the season. If he finishes 7th, he'll score 2 points. That's not enough for him to keep his crown. The rain has revived Petter Solberg's title hopes. He's kept the same Pirelli tire option for this afternoon's stages, but Gronholm's quick time has already shown that the Norwegian may no longer hold a big advantage. Carlos Sainz is the only driver to have gone out on a slick, heavily cut for the rain. The compound of his tire was an ice option designed for Monte Carlo. That's how slippery the Spaniard felt the conditions would be, and he was right. Marco Martin is desperate to make up for lost time. Marco chose a wet tire option with the same compound as Sainz. Pays off. He's quickest through the second run through San Bartomeu. Gilles Panizzi goes for the same tire option as Martin. The Frenchman is really in his rhythm. You can see why Peugeot brings him in for the tarmac rallies. In complete contrast with his Peugeot and Ford rivals, Sebastian Loeb decided to stay with a hard compound after that last service. It's a bad decision, and it's costing him time. Loeb is 7.5 seconds slower than Panizzi, which is a concern. 122-mile stage to go, and suddenly, Loeb's looking vulnerable.
It was not good, bad time, but okay. We have to try to do better in the next stage, but it was a lot of water on the road and a lot of aquaplaning, and so not good time.
Sebastian will have to hold off Panizzi while his Citroën teammate and championship rival Carlos Sainz will be hoping to protect his 4th position from Francois Duval. Stay with us here on Speed. The final stage in Spain, and Carlos Sainz is on course for 5 valuable championship points as long as he can safely guide his Czar to the finish line.
Rasante por izquierda, 1. Rasante derecha rápida, menos ras, para 1 corto, Cesar. Izquierda buena tierra, para la izquierda acá, cuarta, ras, Undia.
His fans seem happy.
Rasante,
but disaster strikes with just a few miles to go.
La madre que me parió.
The Citroën's engine cuts out.
Empujar! Empujar!
These are heart-stopping moments for the Spaniard. He's only too aware that the clock is ticking. The Citroën driver drops 3 places from 4th to 7th. That's 2 championship points.
The car suddenly stopped, and it was stopped for 40-50 seconds, and then suddenly started again.
Gilles Panizzi is now chasing Sebastian Loeb. He'll need all of his renowned tarmac skills to catch the Frenchman and win the rally.
This is a complete disaster for Sebastian Loeb. Surely he must see the rally slipping away. And the split times are showing he's losing at least 1 second per kilometre. Panizzi has a lot more grip from his tyres and he's driving with a lot more commitment. And this is a tremendous drive. Just look how slow he's going round that hairpin. Now he just wants to get to the finish. And his team are expecting the worst. Panizzi has the finishing sight. Not so far to go. This has been a brilliant drive. But he's still got an agonizing wait until he finds out whether he's won his first rally of the year.
Gilles, we're hearing on the split times that Loeb has lost 40 seconds. That could mean you could win this rally.
How many seconds? 40. So he would be behind you.
40. I'm waiting. Incredible.
Loeb pushes as hard as he can for the line, but he's already looking defeated.
Allez, 180 mètres.
On a fini.
Voilà. Spécial terminé pour Daniel.
It's muted applause from the Citroën team.
Sebastian, you've arrived late at the end of the stage. What was the problem?
Very bad tire choice. We have done the same tire choice as the first lap. I didn't know that it has some other mixed tire or rain tire. And I used this, and the other Peugeot and Ford used another tire, which is going very well, and I couldn't do anything. I was pushing as much as possible. Impossible to do anything.
What an incredible turnaround on the last stage. Panizzi began at 31 seconds behind Loeb and ended up 13 seconds ahead of him. Gilles claims 10 points for victory while Loeb has to settle for 8th. Petter's 4 points put him back in the title race. Back at Peugeot, it's pure pandemonium.
Gilles, congratulations on a surprise win there.
Yes, it's of course a big surprise because for me it was impossible to catch Sebastian, and I hope just at the start to keep my second position from Martin and Peter Solberg, and it's incredible.
How confident do you feel going into the last round? It's going to be difficult in Wales.
Yes, it's going to be very difficult because Peter is very fast there, and he's only 1 point behind me, and last year he won there. So it will be a big fight. We were fighting with him in Australia. I hope it will be the same in WRC, and I hope I will win this time.
Peter, you finally managed to get those points for the World Rally Championship.
Yeah, I never thought I should be so happy for a 5th place before, but I must say it's been an incredible rally. It's been a thrill, very, very special. But
With 1 round to go, Loeb leads Sainz because he's got more rally wins. Richard Burns got the miracle he needed to stay in the race behind Peter Solberg. Citroën still leads the Manufacturers' Championship, but Panizzi's win for Peugeot means they're just 5 points behind.
I thought that the Formula One World Championship was close going into the last round, but we have an even closer battle here. We've got 3 drivers just separated by 1 point. You've got the Citroën team with Sainz and Loeb on 63 points, with Peter Solberg just 1 point further behind. And then you've got Richard Burns, who, incredibly after crashing out today, is still in there with a fight for the championship. The manufacturers have also been closed right in. We've got a real battle now between Peugeot and Citroën. It's not just about winning that rally, it's about reliability as well. For the manufacturers, they all need finishers. But for the 3 drivers at the top of the World Championship table, it's winning. That's the important thing. I wonder who's going to win. Is experience going to take pay over the youngsters? Is the youngsters going to show through? We'll have to wait and see, but I can guarantee you the Wales Rally GB is going to be an absolute cracker.
All will be decided in Wales. Any one of 4 drivers can still win this year's championship, so you'd be a fool to miss it. We've got the action from time control to time control. Tune in Sunday, November 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern for the season finale. And don't miss the run-up to it with Rally XS on Friday. Let's not forget the Inmarsat Star of the Rally Award. Even in the toughest of conditions, Gilles Panizzi showed his fantastic tarmac skills to snatch a dramatic win. It's his first victory of the season, but it couldn't have come at a better time and have a bigger impact. By overtaking the Citroën of Sebastian Loeb, he's ensured that the fight for both the drivers and manufacturers' titles will go down to the wire. It was an amazing drive by Gilles and his Peugeot 206. Maybe the competition shouldn't write the car off just yet. Rallye Catalunya has been an absolute thriller, and the championship couldn't be any more exciting. Make sure you join us in Wales for the big showdown. For Penny Mallory and Nikki Grist, I'm Ralph Shaheen. We'll see you from the season finale coming up soon.